Hey guys, TKC here with the blue wig, the blue shirt. You know what that means? It is the Water Civilization review for base set Rise of the Duel Masters. Get ready, and it's starting right now. So the first card we have here is Aqua Night. Oh, why did they do this? I mean, they put this really awesome alternate art of Aqua Night onto this crappy card. No. The original Aqua Night was actually 4,000 power. Why they brought it down to 3,000, I have no idea. Aqua Knight in the original game did absolutely nothing at 4,000, so I honestly don't see the point of dropping it down to 3,000. But hey, it has probably one of the best card art out of like any card in this set, so I'll give it props for that, but other than that, this is no more than a 1.5 because the effect's neat, but why the power drop? I have no idea. And the next card is Buoyant Blowfish. Welcome back, Scissor Eye, I guess. I mean, just don't play this card. There's no reason to at all. It's a 4-3,000. It just sucks. And it's actually a lot worse than Hydrobot Crab because of the fact that it's Bone Bladesable. All the other level 4 or less spells, like, it just hits this so hard, and this can't do anything about it, and Hydrobot Crab just laughs at them. They're like, I can't get Bone Blades, I can't get all that stuff, this card. It can't even get Rock Bited. This card can. It's terrible. 1 out of 5. Don't play this card, ever. And now we get a really nice change of pace, because we jump straight into Crystal Memory. Oh my goodness, we finally have Search. Hallelujah! So Crystal Memory is completely untouched. Unlike Logic Cube and Breach the Veil in the set that got the whole nerfing down to just like looking at the top 5, this is, you just go in your deck, grab a card, you don't even show your opponent, and shuffle your deck. This card is great. Great, 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 great. It is one out of only 2 cards so far in this game. Well, 3 rather, but 2 really good ones that can actually search in the deck for a lot of different awesome cards. So for that, this easily gets a 4. Possibly a 4.5. I don't know. We'll just leave it at 4 for now because it can't be used in every single deck, but it's really good for those control decks, especially Dawn Control, to search for the spell you really need. And then if you have Keeper of Dawn, even better, you could reuse that awesome spell like Skull Shatter or Stormspark Blast or Barrage or whatever you need. You can even get creatures with this. I mean, you can do whatever you want with this card. And it's a Shield Blast. It's just spectacular. Easily a 4 out of 5. Also the best water card in this set, in my opinion. Next we get Finbar, Council of Logos, another tribal support card that is actually very good because it's a very, very supported race. Cyberlords. We got all the Glurgles, we got Aqua Seneschal, Hydro Spy, then you got the Council of Logos guys like Milporo and Hokira. Milporo's the really nerfed Coral, which is awesome, and Finbar just helps out all those really cool Cyberlords. It gives them a little bit of a boost. Unfortunately, Cyberlords aren't really the type to, want to have power. Cyberlords are more of the smart guys who want to get you cards and stuff and prepare for the future where you just destroy them with big guys. These guys are mostly little things. They don't really do much. And so I guess Finbar is nice to give him that boost, but it only really fits in like a mono water Cyberlord deck at this point. I think there's no real room to put him in a 2-color or more deck. So for that, he'll only get a 3 because he's good in a Cyberlord deck anyways, but no more than that. Next we got Hokira, Council of Logos. We got the other part of the Council of Logos, which there are 3 Council of Logos cards. Hokira is pretty cool. This is pretty much the Illusionary Merfolk replacement. Sadly, Illusionary Merfolk was way too splashable. That was the card that was a level 5, you played it. If you had a Cyberlord on the field, you draw 3. Like, you could just play Emerald and Coral and then play this guy, and you're going to be drawing 3 every time you play it, and that was just too ridiculous. So I think their answer to that is this card right here, Hokira, where, you have to have 3 Cyberlords on the field to get the draw power effect, but at least you get it every single turn if you manage to keep that. Unfortunately, Cyberlords are hard to keep on the field. They all have very little power. They can't do much. So, like I said earlier, if you make like a mono Cyberlord deck with Finbar powering him up and then, keep him on the field so you can draw those cards, sure, I think it could definitely work. But other than that, this card just won't do much for you. So for that, it'll get a 2.5 because it's a nice effect, but it's not too easy to get off. And like I said before, it only fits in a Cyberlord deck exclusively. Next we have Hovercraft Burgle, the first super rare to talk about here for water, and this card's a really weird one. It's very unique. It's very unique as a card. The effect is just something you don't really see usually. I mean, you usually see it on single cards like Aqua Night and Aqua Commando, but Hovercraft Burgle is just like, oh, let's give everyone this effect, kind of. Unfortunately, a lot of people were mistaking what this guy actually does. You know, they said, oh, this works with Skeeter Swarmer, you know, or Marrow Ooze and all that, but it doesn't. Let me read the card out for you, just to make sure y'all understand what this is doing. So each time one of your other creatures loses a battle and would be banished, return it to your hand instead. So it has two conditions here. One, it has to be banished, and two, it has to lose in a battle. So Skeeter Swarmer and all that does not work because it wins the battle and then kills itself. So that does not work. And then there's also, let's say, Void Wing. Let's say Void Wing, okay, it gets banished, you draw a card. I mean, you can't get that Void Wing back and draw a card, because by getting it back, you prevent it from being banished, and its effect states that when it gets banished, you draw a card. So this actually cancels out a lot of the things that you guys think this works on. But hey, this works well on Slayers anyway, just Slayers in general, you know, Skullcutter. You know, it loses the battle and then you can get it back. There's nothing wrong with that. Voidwing too, you just don't draw a card. And, you know, it just overall works with any card that you'd like to have back. So this card really works in those rush decks, I guess, that you probably don't have too many cards in your hand, and then by having this guy on the field and they get rid of your little small dudes, you'll just have them back in your hand and play it again. So, I don't know, it's pretty decent. I really like the effect. It's very unique. So for the card design, the cool art and everything, it deserves at least a 3.5. Very good stuff. I wouldn't say it's the best super rare, but it's a really good card in itself. And it's Glurgle. You can't hate Glurgle. Glurgle's awesome. And next we have Ice Launcher. Why? Just why? I don't know. I mean, we had Aqua Shooter earlier, which is level 4, 2000, and then they just make it a level 5, 3000. I mean, okay, cool. It can't get Bone Blaze or Ice Blade or whatever. I mean, that's okay, but it still dies to Rock Bite or whatever. But hey, it could attack guys. It's awesome. It could attack shields. Whoa! But the cost is way too steep, and the power is just nothing. I mean, you could play Keeper of Twilight and have double the power and still attack creatures. And it's a Storm Patrol. It's so much more relevant. I mean, Aquans, sure, they'll be relevant in the future. Most probably they'll get a sick evolution. But this card is just not one of those cards you want to play in those kinds of decks, or in any deck, period. So for that, it gets a 1. Next we have King Coral, and boy, what the heck did they do to this card? This used to be a level 3, 1000 blocker that could attack. You know, just like the Ice Launcher before. It was pretty much that, but cheaper. Now they just made it into this big Leviathan powerhouse creature thing. And I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just like Starlight Strategist in that it provides some sort of engine to the Leviathan race, but it's not as amazing as Starlight Strategist. I mean, okay, cool. You're bouncing a lot of creatures on the field. But first of all, they're only level 4 or less. And second of all, a lot of level 4 or less cards haven't entered the Battle Zone effect, like Rusalka and Fumes and Hydrospy and all that stuff. Then again, you could use this to your advantage in 2 different ways. One, you could use it on your own Enter the Battle Zone effect cards, so you benefit from it. And 2, this is a very awesome progression onto Skull Shatter next turn. The odds of that are kind of slim. I mean, you're not going to be playing 3 King Corals and 3 Skull Shatters unless you're crazy. Hey, I mean, it works. If Leviathans get some more support, I mean, Leviathan decks could happen. I mean, King Coral, King Nautilus is decent as a card. King Pontius can't be blocked. Queen Orion can't be blocked, which is even better than Queen Pontius, but you get the idea. They have a lot of different cards, and if they get some sort of sick evolution or some sort of support, a little bit more than just King Coral support, they could easily be good. So for that, it will get a 3 because, I mean, it's a neat effect, but I don't see it being so crucial in games. It's just very nice to have, I guess. Next we have Knowledge Warden, and here we go. More of these bad cards. It's a 1, guys. I'm sorry. This card is not what you want to put in your decks. Cool, it's an Aquan. Cool, it's a level 3. It's, you know, somewhat cheap bait for those Aquan Evos if they ever pop up, but you just don't want to play this. You really don't. I'm telling you guys, you just don't want to play this card. Like, Aquans are just so terrible right now. It's so sad to say, but that's just what it is. Cyberlords, they just took over. They really just took over the water civilization, and Aquans are just sitting there to be laughed at. So I'm sorry to say, but this is a 1. Until they print out better Aquan cards, I don't know, like, they pretty much have no hope right now, but I'm sure eventually they'll get some better cards, but I don't know. Cyberlords get the cake easily. Next we got Memory Swarm. Can't be blocked, candy drop from the original game. I like it. I mean, it's pretty decent, but it's just, I don't know. It's not really good and constructed. Limited, it's a boss, though. A lot of people lose to this card in Limited, including myself, including a lot of other people. This card is pretty nuts in Limited. As far as that goes, it's not really good and constructed. Unless we get a Melnia card, which is, one level less than this and has Slayer as well. Like, the Slayer is pretty important, I think. I mean, the cheap can't be blocked is nice in those rush decks, like Fire Water or whatever, or any kind of deck that uses water and rush cards. So for that, it'll get at least a 2, because, I mean, it's decent, but it won't see play later on unless, like, cyber viruses are a thing. I don't know. Next, we got Midnight Crawler, and I think this one's a little bit underrated. I know it is like Plasma Chaser in the original game, but the card's decent. I mean, it's a level 6 4000. You attack with it, and then you draw cards equal to the amount your opponent has on their field. If you're not playing any ramp cards and you get this out turn 6, and then you attack turn 7, I sure hope they have at least 3 or 4 creatures on their field. It'd be kind of weird if they didn't, unless you're playing some really slow deck, but most of the time they'll have an average of at least 3 cards. So this card ends up being a 1 cost cheaper King Nautilus that draws you more cards. That's the way I see it. Unfortunately, it doesn't really have that much power, and I mean, of course that's the Tornado Flame, but so does King Nautilus. I mean, this card is better than King Nautilus, let's just put it that way. So you don't really have to play King Nautilus anymore unless you play some sort of Leviathan deck. You could just use this card if you want a lot of draw and a creature. So for that, it's getting at least a 3. It'll probably die out a lot more later into the game. I mean, it's not really used right now even, but just looking at the card and seeing what it could actually do, it could draw you a lot of cards, and it's a lot of advantage. So it's definitely something to look at for the future, maybe. This card's still okay. Alright, next we got Milporo, Council of Logos. So this one is probably the best Council of Logos Cyberlord in the Water Civilization. It just kind of sucks that it went all the way up to a level 7 when it used to be a level 5. But then again, at level 5, it was just way too good. Way too good. So at level 7, it's actually at the right amount. I think 6 would still be too stupid. At level 7, it's sitting at a nice spot because it kind of matches Razorkinder. It doesn't do the same thing, but they're very similar in what they do. It's a level 7 that gets something off the field in some way or form. So Milporo gets at least a 3.5. It would have been like a 4.5 if it was a 6, and it would have been a 6 if it was level 5. Yes, it would like break the scale of the rating because that card's just so dumb in my opinion. But no, really, it would have been a 5 if it was a level 5, so yeah. At 7, it's at the perfect amount. It's really balanced at that level, so I'm really happy that it's at level 7. Next, we got Predict. Why are people hating on this card? I don't know. I personally think it will be useful, even if it's not useful right now. You guys may think it's not useful. Of course, you're losing a card to play it, but at the same time, you're manipulating your next 4 draws, which is nothing to laugh at, especially if some sort of combo deck happens later on in the game, and, you need to have that one card on top of the deck or something, and then you play a card like Transmogrify, for example, and you flip the top cards of your deck until you get a creature, and then bam, you pay it at no cost. I mean, if you make a deck where you have a bunch of big guys and you play Predict and, rearrange it so you have Transmogrify and then the big creature right after, like, you're all set. Just things like that. Like, this card has a whole lot of potential. A lot of potential. So this is getting a 2.5 at the very least. If there was a card that did this and drew you a card after, like at least one card, then it would be spectacular. But, since you don't draw a card and you're only rearranging, it's not too special. But like I said before, like combo decks could be a thing, or some sort of deck where you have this win condition and you need to have it at a certain point of the game. This card does its job really well. Next, we got Queen Orion. It's a big Leviathan that can't be blocked. It's exactly King Defcon, but it got a sex change. I don't know why. It's a queen now. It's decent. It's decent for now. I mean, we don't have many cards in the game. It's a double breaker that can't be blocked. This card is probably ridiculous and limited. Constructed, it's there. I mean, it's there. It's better than Roaming Bloodmane, kind of. I mean, it can't be blocked, period, which is always nice. Roaming Bloodmane is only creatures that have less power than it, so they have that at least, but other than that, nothing too special. So this will get only a 2, but like I said before, Leviathans could be a thing, who knows. So it could easily go up to a 3 maybe, but that's as high as it'll get. Next we got Rusalka Aqua Chaser. Now, in my opinion, I think this card is really, really, really overrated. I mean, sure, it's great. You're bouncing a creature, and you have a 1,000 power creature on the board, but if you think about it, this card is Unicorn Fish in the original game. How many people used Unicorn Fish? I That just kind of says it right there. I mean, then again, this game is, a tad slower than Duel Masters, so keeping it at level 4 actually gives it quite a bit of an advantage. And it's really good in those water rush decks, like I said before. You just play this, remove any threat you have on the board, and, go in with all your other creatures. So for now, I think it's okay. But until we get like an Aqua Surfer card or something, like this card's dead, completely dead. I don't know. You could use it. It's just, I think the only reason why this card is being used is because it's one of those awesome creatures on the show and it has really nice art. Whereas you compare it to Unicorn Fish and it's like this ugly thing and you don't even know what it is and like no one plays it. But because it's Rusalka, it's like, oh, this card's cool, so let's just play it. It's like one of those hype cards, like Bat Breath and Alcadeus and stuff. I think it's just kind of that kind of mindset going on. But I'm not going to say it's a bad card. It's a really good card. It's decent. I just don't think it's retardedly good to be used in every deck that plays water. So for that, it gets a 3 because it's good. But like I said, it shouldn't get the hype that it's getting right now, in my opinion anyway. Alright, next we got Steam Star Grapple. 5 out of 5. This card can beat Blaze Belcher. Blaze Belcher is a threat in this game. You need to get rid of the Blaze Belcher, and this card, you can block the Blaze Belcher and it's going down. This card does it all. But really, this only gets a 1. I'm sorry, guys. No, just don't. Just don't do it. I'm sure Drizzer will play this in all his decks, but not me. Sorry. Next, we got Thought Probe, another card that's pretty underrated. It's just like Midnight Crawler. It's the same effect in a spell and a Shield Blast. Really cool stuff. Now, this card used to be level 4 in the Japanese game. It was called Deep Operation, and it was retarded, and it was limited to 1. Now that it's at 5, it's a lot more balanced. Way more balanced. I mean, if they put this at 4, there'd be no point of playing Spy Mission. You could just put in 2 of these or something, and you're going to be drawing mostly 3 cards off of it. But now that it's at 5, it's, a lot different. But it still could draw you quite a bit of cards. I wouldn't use it more than 1 in any deck unless you have some sort of strategy that gets some creatures on the board and then you draw a lot. For that, it gets at least a 3. I think it's really nice as a 1-of. You just get it in your shields randomly when they're attacking you, and it's like, oh, look, I'm going to draw 4 or something. Like, it just could randomly give you that crazy advantage that you need in a game. And the last card of the set, the best super, in my opinion, for water, is Waterspout Gargoyle. Cool stuff. Aqua Sniper's back, looking better than ever, and it has the same effects, same everything. And, it's not that bad. At least for right now, it's pretty good. It's a double Rusalka. It's a 5,000 power creature. This card combos a lot. You can do a lot of things. You could do a lockdown with this, where you bounce itself, you bounce one of their creatures, and then you just keep on going and poking with all your other guys. It's a really good card. You could even do the combo where you, gargoyle their creatures, and the next turn you Skull Shatter for a lot. I don't know, you could do a lot of stuff with this. So for that, Waterspout Gargoyle gets a 3.5, just like Glurgle. They're really close in what they can do, but Waterspout is just a little bit better because it's, it can be used in a lot of different decks, and it has a lot of different things going for it, like Lockdown or Skull Shatter, destroying your hand and whatever, so... yeah, they're fairly even, but Waterspout Gargoyle gets a little bit of a nudge higher than the Glurgle. Alright guys, that was the Water Civilization. Sadly, this civilization was probably the worst civilization in this set. It's sad to say, but it probably is. There really isn't that much going on for water in this set. We already seen Light, they got Storm Spark, Blast, and all this ridiculous cards, and here at least we got Crystal Memory, so that's really cool. But as far as the rest of the cards go, it's just like, Steam Star, Ice Launcher, Aqua Night. So many everywhere. It leaves a bad mark on water, but It's okay, guys. Water's still ridiculously good with all the other cards we got. There's always that, guys. So this is TKC sign off from the water set review, and I'm gonna have to take off this wig now. And now my hair is kind of ruined, and my eyes. See you later, guys.